Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Rangers Review transfer update here on the channel as we bring you some news of a potential incoming and an outgoing. Chris Jack joins me. How's it going, Chris, first of all?
How many more of these have we got to go? Are we going daily in the final week? Going daily in the final week before we do the big deadline day show. I had a brief conversation with Josh about that earlier on about our deadline day plans next week, but we'll keep them under wraps and keep the viewers in suspense before we review what's happening next week. But another interesting day in the world of Rangers, but aren't they all?
Yeah, exactly. I'll need to look at the old yellow tie again. Going by previous shows, I very much look forward to 3 hours of chatting about nothing. So Rangers, if you are watching, give us a deadline day signing, please. That would help us massively, and ideally closer to the deadline than not. So over to you, Rangers. But news of a potential outgoing, a player that we discussed on the show this morning, Chris, is that of Danilo. You've got an update over on the website at this moment in time. He looks to be heading out the door.
Yes, somebody that watched the briefing this morning, we also spoke a bit about potential outgoings, and the 3 names that we discussed were Joe Rodwell, Clinton Enciala and Danilo. It looks like Danilo is now the closest one. We understand there's a bit of interest from Holland, a bit of interest in a loan deal, but Rangers are keen to move him on permanently if they can. They're looking to just do a deal that will see him depart rather than a loan until the end of the season. And as you say, Paphos are the first club to come to the table and put some money on it. We understand round about £2 million. Rangers obviously paid round about £6 million for him when he first signed under Michael Beale, but that was many years, many managers, and unfortunately for Danny, many injuries ago. It's just not worked out how anyone thought it would do or hoped it would do over the course of his Rangers career, and I'd be surprised if many Rangers fans are too upset at this one. We spoke a lot about the need for reinforcements in the final third, and it looks like if they can do one out and then one in, that's potentially a bit of an upgrade in that final third. I think Danny looks like he needs a fresh start, and there's a lot of comments on the show this morning, people saying, was that celebration a bit of a farewell one? He didn't look overly pleased when he scored, did he? As if he knew something that the rest of us didn't at that stage. So I think he will move on. Whether Paphos is the team that end up completing the deal or not, that remains to be seen. We don't know if Rangers have accepted that offer or if they're looking for a bit more or if they're looking for a different deal structure. So we'll try and get a bit more detail on that over the course of the afternoon, and hopefully bring that to you tonight or on the briefing in the morning. But there is interest in Danilo, and Rangers at this point in time are willing sellers.
Yeah, Paphos, for me, that if it goes there, it'd be a good move for them. I mean, they're in the Champions League, Paphos, a club that have really come to the fore in recent seasons. David Silva plies his trade over there as well. He would come up against former Rangers teammates, Connor Goldson over there for Aris Limassol, Ross McCausland as well, and Leon Balogun, of course, over there. So that would be interesting if he plays against them. Incidentally, their match... they take on Aris Limassol at the end of February. So interesting one ahead if Danilo heads out to Cyprus. Said it before, someone asked on one of the shows, how much would you take for Danilo? And I was of the opinion if they can get him off the wage bill, then all well and good. But I struggle to put a sort of valuation on him, given we haven't really seen much of him at points. And when he has been given opportunities, unfortunately, his body has let him down at points. Although he did take his goal well yesterday. I still think he could have contributed, but I think it's best for club and player that he moves on. And £2 million, I think on the face of it, is probably decent money to come in for him, albeit Rangers taking a bit of a hit on him, but understandably so given his injury issues. NEC Nijmegen, of course, over in the Netherlands, interested as well, emerged as a target for them. But I think, as you quite rightly say, Chris, Rangers looking to bring in a bit of a fee and move players on permanently, which is probably no real surprise why we've seen Rangers linked with a striker. Certainly not a player that I had heard of prior to the reports earlier on. You can see on the website, folks, that the Hansa Rostock forward Ryan Nadiri, 22 years of age. He previously on the books of Dynamo Dresden, a team of yesteryear, in Borussia Mönchengladbach. He has 8 goals for Hansa Rostock this season, who play, incidentally, a big name in German football, but they play in the third tier. So yeah, there is that. I've not really seen anything of him, but he is a player that has been attracting interest from a number of clubs throughout Europe. So he seems to have a bit about him, Chris. And given his frame, he looks more of a sort of target man up top. Would you say? What is the latest with regards to this?
I messaged Josh when we filed that story about an hour and a half or so ago on the website. I messaged him, and he's got a 5-hour layover in Schiphol Airport tomorrow morning on his way to Porto, and I said that will fill your time just perfectly. He can do a bit of German Bundesliga 3 scout report work for us. So this sounds like one that Rangers are they're certainly interested in. Again, understand that a bid has been made, and there's initial talks there. Also understand that the player himself would be keen on a move, and he would be keen to come and work under Danilo and potentially come in and play a big part in this title race. Again, not someone that I know a lot about, apart from a quick scout, just as I was filing that piece there. But he certainly it's a bit of a. I think if you'd said to Rangers fans at the start of the window, you'll spend £9 million or so on Andreas Skov Olsen, but the striker you'll sign will come from the German third division. I mean, like a bit of a mixed reaction. I don't think people would have known what to believe. It's just one you have to trust the manager, you have to trust the scouting team, you have to trust the recruitment team there. They will have done all the work possible to try and find a player that's going to be a fit. Slightly surprised at the profile of him, as we touched on the show this morning. I thought the way that Danilo has been speaking over the last wee while, he would look for someone who can perhaps play wide, play central, play as a 9, or play as a number 10, and someone that can fill in different positions within that forward line. Maybe they're looking at Nadiri as a replacement for Danilo, and they will still move in that area. If they are, that's not something that we've heard in the case of. We expect a forward to come in, so I'm slightly surprised if that's the profile of this forward, but he does have a good goal scoring record. Again, you have to take into account the level of it, but young, should have a lot of progression in him, but not someone that I want to talk up too much, because I'd be doing it both a disservice by saying that I know too much about him and what he could potentially bring to Rangers. I'll leave the more in-depth analysis of it to Josh for the next couple of days. But a player that Rangers are very much in the market for, and as we understand it, he would be keen on that move as well. I think it depends on Rostock now. They, as far as I understand, they would look to get a replacement in before they were to lose Nadiri. They don't want to end up short of a striker and one of their better players in the second half of the season. So it may be one that Rangers, you may well get your wish on deadline day. This may be one that Rangers have to wait a couple of days for to actually get over the line. Really just depends on what Rostock and their recruitment team can go and do now.
Yeah, around €3 million, so about £2.5 million, which I guess for Hansa Rostock is decent money for them, and by all accounts the player wants to come to Ibrox. So yeah, a bit of a left field player link earlier on today, but good to know that Rangers are active. It's what we sort of predicted, that if Danilo was to move on, Rangers would look to bring someone else in, and that looks certainly to be the case. 6'4", it's almost the Yusuf Chermiti-esque, Chris, but scores goals perhaps. Is that fair? What do you see with this guy? Certainly, one of the criticisms of Miovski at the weekend is he can't really play that lone furrow up top by himself, but this guy certainly looks like he's a big unit, and he would sort of thrive in that system.
I think the big unit aspect of it is actually quite an interesting part of it. If you look at the signings that have come in so far, certainly Chikwani in the middle of the park, Romans is not exactly Ridvan Yilmaz in terms of his stature either. He's got a bit more presence about him. And I think that's something that Rangers have realised. They are a bit short and a bit lightweight in certain areas of the squad. They have to try and address that physical profile. So if you're going into the market to sign a striker of that profile, again, I don't think you get many fans that would be disappointed with that. I think that's something that the squad could use. Ultimately, can he make the step up going from German third division? Can you make that step up into the pressure cooker and everything that comes with being a Rangers player? And then also, can you then step it up into whatever European competition Rangers will hope to be in next season as well? Ideally, all going well over the next week, and then over the next few months, it will be Champions League. For a guy of 22, I think, is a big step, but still young enough, and hopefully plenty of progression there that Danilo can get out of him. If indeed this is the deal that Rangers actually go and get finalised. Again, we understand there's a couple of other irons in the fire. They're not putting all their eggs in the one basket on this one.
Yep. Okay. Sterling work as ever. Thank you for that. You can go and read the update, folks, over on the website. Remember, I've got that offer on at the moment, £4 for 4 months. Head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe to sign up. Right, that'll do us for today. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, people. I'm back tomorrow 9:30 alongside Blair, who will join us. So, yeah, we'll speak to you all then. Bye for now.